Hello, welcome to a Zatu review. I'm Nick from Board Deck and Dice, and today we're looking at Mutants from Lucky Duck Games, which is a kind of deck builder, but it's a bit different to deck builders that you might have seen. The first thing you need to do is construct your advanced mutant decks. Now there are some pre-constructed ones, and I suggest grabbing those at first. I sort these cards out by main colour, so the first colour on there, they all go in the box in that way, and then I can grab them quickly. So you have two of each of those ones for a deck of 12 cards. You deal them into three face down piles and flip over the top ones. Alongside that, you're going to have a starting hand and deck of 12 basic mutants, and you start with one of each of the basic mutants. So in this shuffled deck, these will appear again. Now, you're not kind of deck building in the traditional way, as this is your own private advanced deck and everyone else will have their other advanced deck. Okay, now what you first do is you check to see on your turn if you crushed a competition. What that means is if you are in the top space here and the competition is down in one of these bottom three spaces, you score the points in the black box there. So if this were the case, red would score 2. Next, you will move your active mutant. So let's say a couple of goes have gone by, we have an active mutant, and if the space left or right is free, you must move them into one of those spaces. So if we had something like this, we must move this guy into that space. Okay, whenever a mutant has to move and there's no space, they push one of them into the discard pile and their leaving action will trigger. Okay, so we have an arrival action. So in this case, if I played this zombie and I was on here, I'd move up 2, and then but if later on I pushed in another turn, this guy is here and this guy left, his leaving action is 2 as well. So you can manipulate the board that way through leaving actions. Instead, after vacating this, you can breed a mutant into the active place gene pool. And to do that, you need to play mutants from your hand with the same colours. So at this point, I should have kept the green. But if I played a green and a yellow, for example, into my discard pile, Triple B would come down into here and push everyone out like we say, and then freeze any card from the top of your discard pile. Well, freezing is one of the ways to score points, so I will freeze the robot because that will score me points at the end. The other thing you can do is incubate. Okay, when you breed, by the way, you must play 2 cards. Doesn't matter if they have 2 colours on here, you have to play 2 cards always. The other thing I can do is discard 1 card to incubate a advanced mutant onto the top of my deck. Now that's not going to come out till the next round, and there's only 5 rounds in the game, but it is a way of guaranteeing that mutant's going to be in your hand. You play on until everyone has used all their cards, either through deploying or paying costs, and then at the end of the round you will score. Now, you will score, the person who's furthest up on here will score the red points above the round token. Second, third place will score 2 points, and if there's only 2 players, or last place will always score 0 points. Then you're going to reset this. The player with the least points will start further up the power track. The round track will move on. Everyone will draw cards that are incubated go here first, because you might draw some through, and at the end of the round, incubated cards go onto the top of your deck. And then you draw back up to 6 from your deck and you play again. You are looking to activate powers to score points and to get cards into your freezer. At the end of the game, you will score points from mutants in your freezer. Either from the points at the top or variable points, like this one gets 1 per green icon in your freezer. So you can score a lot as the game goes on with this power track, but also you're looking to build up cards. So you want a steady flow of new cards coming in, and at the right time you want to shift them off to your freezer using the correct powers. That's a very brief overview of Mutants. So Mutants caught me by surprise. I was expecting a much more traditional deck builder, but what you have in Mutants is a kind of deck builder, deck shredder, because as quickly as you're getting cards into your deck, and you only have 12 extra that you can get in, you're trying to get the best ones into the point pile in the freezer, you're trying to manipulate the powers to use them at the best time, and you only have 5 rounds to do this. It's one of those games where setup can take as long as a couple of rounds of the game, especially if you decide to draft your own decks of cards. So I would recommend for the first few games at least using those pre-constructed decks, finding out what the synergies are, deciding what your tactics are, whether you like to crush your opponents or whether you like to play for points instead. The oddest thing, and the thing that probably most people will dislike and like in equal measure, is that the pool of cards that you're improving your deck from isn't shared, and that's really unique and adds to the kind of deck construction before the game starts. And if you like games where you're building up your options as much before the game starts, then this is going to be a really good option for you. There are opportunities for interaction with the power track where you can earn quite a lot of points. Some of the cards will let you knock other people down that track, and I really like that at every stage of the game you're incentivized to think about powers when they move left and when they come into the active spot and when they move into the left and right spots. After a couple of rounds, all those are basically going to be filled a lot of the time, so you're going to be getting those leaving powers as well as the activating powers. It's a really nice system and it can create some really nice synergies. If you are looking for a traditional deck builder, then you need to take 2 looks at this and make sure you are fine with a non-shared market deck or equivalent, and the deck shredding as much as the deck construction. If you are looking for something that does something new and fast and kind of quite frustrating in a good way, because it's frustrating to lose cards from your deck that are super powerful, but it's also great when you manage to pull it off at exactly the right time when that card becomes no longer useful for your deck and suddenly going to grant you a load of points. In this kind of core box, because this was a Kickstarter originally, there is more than enough variety to keep you going, especially if you like constructing your own decks. So my verdict on Mutants is, if you like deck builders where you have a shared market and you're both building from that and trying to make the best and racing for the good cards, then have a look into this a bit more in detail. If you're looking for something that does something different with deck builders, that is a bit fresh, a bit new, and adds deck shredding elements that are not the usual just get rid of the bad cards, because often you're wanting to get your advanced cards into that freezer, then there is going to be a lot to like here and a lot of gameplay, and it's one of those deck builders. The deck builders I usually like are definitely better 2-player. Mutants is a great game for 2 to 4 players, so it has that going for it too. That is my thoughts on Mutants. Thanks very much for joining us on Zatu. Please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and find us on Facebook for more videos, including lots of live entertainment. Every Wednesday around 8 o'clock we do a live show. It'd be great if you could join us there. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.